This month is the Sounds of Azania Cultural and Creative Incubator. They will host the Choral Indigenous Music Awards at the Soweto Theatre. Now, the event is set to celebrate the extraordinary talents of choirs. Participants will be awarded under a range of categories, including Best Mdluli Award, Best Amadoda Award, Best Zion, and Best Tap and Clap, just to name a few. Let's talk about this exciting project now with awards director Msizi Mavundla, as well as managing director at Sounds of Azania, that's Jennifer Mdluli. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate the time. Jennifer, let's talk about why these awards are so significant, especially in a time where some might feel like there isn't as much attention, particularly on choirs, on Mdluli as a whole.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think the reason why these awards are important is that, as you've said, that there is not much that is taking place in the choral space, in the indigenous space, in the traditional music space. And we thought, as a young person, this is very important because I'm pretty sure most of the young people grew up under the choral music umbrella. You know,
I know, I did.
Exactly.
I actually did myself as well. So it's very interesting that as time goes by, however, it fades away. What happens, do you think, that it fades away so much and doesn't get as much prominence and importance? Do we get taken over by international music too much?
I think what really happens is that the trends that are taking place in the musical space, you know, there is not any social stance in the choral music. And as young people, we are driven by the social trends. We are driven by what is happening internationally. So if the choral music doesn't have a social stance, it's like it's null and void to a young person.
Msizi, you're going to have to make this trend then. How do you make sure that it trends? And how do you make sure that the awards signify this or showcase the significance and importance of this genre of music as well as choirs?
Back to our roots.
Yes.
We celebrate Amadoda, celebrate Mdluli, celebrate Zion is Tatamia because ila we kona iko ya lomculo because wonke genres akhona popular music intsha comes from a background ya lomculo, so it's part of culture, it's part of spirituality. That's why you have to bring it back to make sure whatever local practice we are able to bring it back to mainstream, be popular and make it trend. Usakhona ngala akhona mapiano. How do we then fuse
all
the two
together? Yes.
That is why uzokwazi ukuthola ukuthi talent it's there vocally, the talent is there. Then we just have to put in the music. So that's why kubalulekile ukuthi senze show ukuthi siyayihlanganisa siyayibuyisa so people understand ukubaluleka komculo ne quality of the music that they need to bring.
Certainly the importance of music, as you make note of there as well, and celebrating the different art forms, so to speak, too. How much or how helpful is it as well that you're able to do it in this month, which of course is the month along with Easter, in which you can then extrapolate from that the cultural, the religious, let's call it senses that come with all of it all together?
We chose May because May Africa Month.
Yes.
So since we Africa Month, then it's courtesy right for us to celebrate. Easter.
Yes.
We'll be celebrating our democracy. 27th April. So we are moving then celebrating Africa. So it's about history. It's about our history, where we come from and where we are as a continent, as a South Africa, as abantu abamnyama as a whole, celebrating ourselves and preserving izinto kumculo wethu. Actually, we're preserving the sound that as identify as abantu abamnyama.
Jennifer, music has always been about storytelling.
Yes.
And this is possibly the perfect opportunity to do so.
Definitely.
Right, and really talk about our history, our past, as you've just been making note of as well. And this is what this can also celebrate, right? The history of different traditions, different cultures, different religions, etc., right?
Yes. So it does form a very significant part, you know, as young people, like I said, that we grew up under these umbrellas, you know, and now it's something that shaped who we are, shaped what we are, you know, and then you grow up, and then you can't be in that space anymore. And you're thinking, okay, how do I go back into that? There is no opportunities for you to go back into that space. Then you find yourself in other different genres of music, on other different forms of arts. But then you later realize, this is exactly what I like. But there's no opportunity because the communities are marginalized and there is no growth in that space, because also we are in the trending space. Now, if you are singing clap and tap, choir, elokishini, there is no growth that is being formed to say, okay, fine, this is where we're going. From here, we're going to be recording an album. From here, we're going to be touring. From here, there's none of that. And you go to other spaces of music or other spaces of arts, there's all of that. Then you find yourself a little bit lost in that space.
So how do you find them? How do you find the artists? How do you find and how do you gather them all together for a concert like that? I mean, for these awards, for example, as well, to ensure that they are recognized properly. And I can imagine that the support of some of the sponsors also matters.
You know what? It was very tricky to find them.
Yeah,
very tricky. Most of them don't have a social stance.
Wow.
And you'd find that it's some of the music that I've been listening to on my playlist.
Wow.
And then now later I'm like, hi, Bo, this group is the group I was talking to during the week to say, oh, you guys have been nominated and you've received a number of nominations. And I'm like, I know this music, but I don't know the person behind the music. It's quite difficult. And then you end up finding them. We are going through a lot, finding the groups. But I'm glad that we found them.
Msizi, let's just talk very finally, if we can, then just about these awards then as well. I mean, Culture Preservation Award, Best Clap and Tap Award, Best Zion Music, etc. Amadodana Award as well. All of those so significant. How do you choose? What best represents an award winner?
Based on the quality, based on the content itself. Ukhuluma ngani the effect, the effect umuntu azoba nayo. Umculo wakho wenzani kumuntu, wenzani, are we building a society through your music? Njengoba ku cultural preserving, are we preserving imvelaphi yethu? Because if you beg, when we talk about history and cultural preservation, we have two anthems in South Africa. Unkosi Sikelel, that was written by Sotonga, that is choral. We have our current anthem, Le Enotistem and everything else written by Mdluli or composed by Mdluli, which are internal. And then the history ohlanganisa lo mculo, it's because of choral. We have award winners we Statamia, international people who are representing us internationally. That is choral. Receiving so that we try to see when Nina is a group or you as a musician, you as a director, as a composer, to preserve the culture, to uplift the music, and also, but most importantly, make sure the youth of our country
are involved in both of that.
They are developed.
Msizi, Jennifer, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. I think education, more than anything else, is so significant to this. Ensuring that people continue to know, to understand. I remember doing choral verses, doing choral music when I was younger. Man, what a time it was. Certainly, it certainly helped raise me, certainly helped me to become who I was and who I am as well today. So thank you to both of you for continuing this tradition as well. Jennifer Mdluli, the director of Sounds at Azania, and Msizi Mavundla then as well, who's the project or awards director then for the Choral Indigenous Music Awards that are happening at the Soweto Theatre.